So there we are. Well, good morning and welcome to Hordle and Tiptoe Chat Online. Lovely to have you with us. Lovely to welcome you. I think most of you will recognize my guest this morning, Simon, the Reverend Simon Robertson. Simon, of course, was our curate here until May of 2019. And then he and Sandra and Chloe moved on to Andover to a wonderful church outreach that he's going to talk about now. Simon, lovely having you with us this morning. Thanks. Can you just give us a little bit of a heads up on what you guys are doing at the moment and how the family are? Thank you.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for inviting me to come and share with you. Really, it's I can't believe where time has flown by. May 2019 seems like yesterday, and yet with everything that's going on, it feels like a long time ago. But we're just, as I say, sending our prayers and love to you all. So Sandy, Chloe and I have been here, as you say, just over 19 months now. And it's been an incredible journey that we've been facing. Sandra and Chloe are settling in well. So Chloe's at a local, she's a secondary school now. And obviously with all of the lockdown, she's having to work from home. Sandy is also currently working, doing a contract with Eastleigh Council, and she's also working from home, and also myself also working mostly from home, which obviously a lot of people are in this time.
Very much.
I can't believe that, as I say, time's gone on, but Andover is a lovely place, and we're really enjoying it here. So the church, what's happening? As I said, my role is very much around the discipleship and of course, involved with pastoral care. That probably doesn't come as any surprise to any of you. But as a church, we've gone on a real journey, essentially, over the last 18 months, 2 years. There was a really committed group of people who were here before we came. And really, one of the things that we talk about is honouring the past and building for the future. And that's what we're doing. We're really trying to be a resource for Andover, and that's what we are, a resource church. So that's many of you may remember that I used to go up to London every week to something called the Accelerator course, which was with the Church Revitalisation Trust. And that basically is a charity that is run out of HTB. And that's to train leaders in developing resource churches. So Chris, who's the vicar of St Mary's Andover, was on that with myself. So we've come here to Andover to really set that up. And wow, what 18 months it's been. As I say, it's been a bit of a roller coaster. We started in the September, as I say, 2019. We started with a big bang. We had a big band, and we had a whole kind of food outside. So we had a bit of a carnival atmosphere, essentially, for the church. After that, we just kept on plugging every week, increasing our social media presence as well as our presence in the town. We started running Alpha, where we're committed to do Alpha 3 times a year. And so we are, we've done, so far, we keep doing it. Even in the lockdown, what we've found is that we've done Alpha online, and much to our amazement, it works. Our latest Alpha at the moment has, I think it's about 15 to 20 people on it at the moment. It's just been incredible how people are really open to hearing about the gospel and exploring faith. And I think we've definitely seen that over the lockdown period of time, where people might be frightened to go into a church, but actually by being online, by being in their own home, actually it's a more comfortable way of being able to explore faith. And so we've been doing Alpha, our connect groups, which is the equivalent of your home groups. We've seen a massive growth there. So where we've seen more and more people wanting to get involved in a connect group, where people can do life together, where they can support one another, encourage each other in their faith. And again, because of the lockdown, we've seen more people wanting to engage with a connect group, because people are finding themselves isolated, or
Yes.
or that they've been, or actually they're missing their friends from church, you know, who do you have a natter with about kind of life stuff, and who encourages you. And so we've really been trying to grow those and continue as kind of a really important part of our church life together, is those connect groups. Because as you may well remember, I was very much involved with the small groups or home groups back when I was with you guys, which again, like a lifetime ago.
Yeah. So, Simon, did you take over an existing building? I mean, church to me, for both of us, it's the people, but the people have to meet somewhere. You took over an existing building. What was the structure before you arrived there, before you set up?
Yeah, sure. So the actual church itself was it was run by one vicar and a curate. And then basically they had administrator. But the church itself, there was approximately about 120 people or so. And as I say, so it was more about a case of coming in to support the community and develop that community, really. And that's what we've done. So it's not kind of a church plant as such, but it's more of a kind of coming in and just helping to grow the church. And that's where we arrived. And the church itself, I know that some of you, your watchers, came and supported me when I was licensed here. And it's a big barn of a building. It sits at the top of the high street, and it's one of the main kind of buildings in the town where wherever you go, you can see the spire more or less.
So you must have got scope then to have quite a large congregation. You must be serving a large community there then, Simon.
Yeah, so at the moment there's about 30,000 people that we serve. So Andover itself is a town with about just over 50,000 people. Right. It's a growing town. For those of you who may not know, Andover, previously it was a country town, a market town, which then grew with the London overspill. That now is increasing because of the number of houses and housing developments that are going. And it just is a continuously growing area. We've got a train station which goes up to London, so there's quite a lot of commuters. Mm-hmm. But also the town has a whole variety of different social issues as well. It's a really interesting place and a really friendly place, actually. Sandy and I and Chloe love living here. There is some, the people are very warm, and there's lots to get involved with. And I think out of that, really, we've developed as a church really great links into the local community with various aspects that I can tell you about in a moment.
Yeah, well, that would be just great. Yes, yeah. Do tell us about what you're doing in the community.
So we've got so far. Over the last summer holidays, we were very much aware of the whole area of food poverty. Mm-hmm. And we were kind of, when the government at the time were thinking of scrapping the voucher scheme, and so we thought, well, we need to do something that we could help, or just give a little bit of food, try and do our part to support people in the town. So we came up with the idea of something called Host a Roast. And it's essentially what it was is one meal a week to support those families who could just do with a little bit of help, really. And then, much to our joy, the voucher scheme came back online. So really, we just wanted to make sure that they had that we were able to support some of those families who otherwise the kids would have had school meals paid for in the school, that this over the summer holiday would just give them just enough. And even we worked with the food bank to kind of work alongside, so that we weren't duplicating anything. And our offering was basically fresh food, so vegetables, meat, a whole variety of different things. And so that's where we got this name, Host a Roast. Although there was quite a few different connotations of roast dinners. But we produced a little meal card with the ingredient card with all the type of recipes as well. We've did a whole host of different things for the activity sheets, and we ended up probably every week feeding within the region of about 140 families for every week. So over the summer holidays, that then the local council was really interested in it, so they then gave us some funding to extend it over the summer holiday, over each of the school holidays, and that really has grown. Another piece of work we've been doing is with a local GP surgery and the social prescribers. So these are social prescribers are, that where people who go to see their GP, maybe they're lonely, maybe there's a whole host of other social issues that need to be addressed. And especially when it came to lockdown, we were like, well, what can we do to support people in the community who are by themselves or just feeling lonely and vulnerable? So we devised a friend scheme alongside the NHS, where they would refer people who'd agreed to have a buddy, essentially. And so that's a continuous thing that we're doing, where the NHS will then refer to us people who just want a phone call every week, so that we can just phone to them, chat to them. We're not there to kind of be counsellors or anything like that. No. It's just purely a sense of friendship and kind of just support and a listening ear. So that's been an exciting project. And out of all of that, we thought, well, what's the longer term aspect of this COVID-19 pandemic? Because there's going to be, as we all know, jobs have been severely hampered, finances have been hampered. So we thought, well, how can we support the town? So we are working in conjunction now with CAP, with Christians Against Poverty. We're becoming a debt centre and also a job club. So we're setting those up. We're also looking at something called Kintsugi Hope, which I don't know. It's a national movement, essentially, looking at well-being. And what they do, it's low-grade kind of people supporting people with to be more, what's the word I'm looking for? Or just to help them in their well-being. So it doesn't matter if you've got issues or if you haven't got issues and you just want to learn more about yourself. Kintsugi Hope is a course that people can go to support people, to help people grow in themselves and in their resilience. And so we're starting to roll that out in conjunction with Kintsugi Hope as well. So again, trying to understand the mental health and well-being alongside the kind of the practical money aspect and helping people try and get jobs essentially through job clubs. So quite a big vision, really.
I mean, that is a big vision, and that is just wonderful. A recurring theme that we seem to have had through the later winter and into spring like this now with these chats has been being the hands and feet of Christ. And we've had several instances of that with other guests that we've had along the way. And it is a classic example of what you guys are doing. Simon, can I just ask, because obviously you are a larger group than we are here at Hordle and Tiptoe. And obviously that we can resonate what you're talking about and think, oh gosh, yes, we wish we could. But the team, I mean, how many people are actually involved in this? Is it all volunteers, or are there more people that are paid staff? Or because you're obviously doing an enormous amount of work, aren't you?
Yeah, it's a combination of both. As I say, the church itself has been growing, and there has been an enormous amount of volunteers who have come forward to offer their time. It's been a real privilege, actually, working alongside those people, amazing people who give of their time freely to not only to live out their faith, essentially, not just through words, but through actions as well. But we do have a staff team. In fact, with the Lighthouse, we've just taken on 3 part-time people to oversee that. So we're just, so that's kind of an act of faith, essentially, to say, right, let's step out. This is what we believe God's calling us to. So they coordinate a lot of the aspects of that. So yes, it's mostly voluntary. But there are kind of some people in the staff team who are able to do all of that. And alongside that, obviously, we are still doing the services, the connect groups, the all of the kind of things that you would associate with church as well. So, so yes, the staff team is a kind of a larger team. We do have some ministry assistants who are essentially interns, but we call them ministry assistants, who are youngsters who are learning what it is to minister in the church. And
Right.
so we have 3 of those at the moment, crossing children and youth as well. And so I think, yeah, it's I totally get what you're saying. It's kind of like, it sounds amazing, but what does that mean to what could we learn? Yeah, it's but it is really voluntary led. It's incredible.
That's just wonderful, isn't it? It really is wonderful. So Simon, looking at it, you said you've got obviously Alpha is going really well, and you've got online services, I assume, and all of this sort of thing. So looking at it, one of the things that interests me really is this whole use of technology here. You and I are sitting here talking through technology, and everybody will be watching us, etc. Personally, I think that this is a massive opportunity for church. You're talking about tremendous growth in ministry in any case, but I think technology offers a massive opportunity. I know that you were very much into technology. I mean, you were the guru when things went wrong in church for the presentation. It was always you that could sort it out. What are your feelings about the future? Because sometime or other we will get back to church, some of us. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's a really good question. I think, what does the future look like of church? And, it's a question that lots of people are asking at the moment. I think one of the things that I'm mindful of is that actually, you're absolutely right. This is presenting us with a new opportunity that we didn't have before.
Yeah.
I don't think that, I don't think it's going to be business as usual in the future. I think that actually we're probably going to be more hybrid in our approach to church, both online and in person. And so I see that we will be moving much more towards that. What does that look like? Because some people, even with the lockdown, once that we get to that stage where we are able to go back into the building, obviously we are still able to go now, but obviously many of us have decided not to.
No, we closed Hordle. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the same with us. So it's all online because we felt that actually the safety of our people,
taking a responsible attitude. Yeah.
So I think what we're going to see is that sense that we're going to be both and it's not either or, it's and both. And I think that it does mean things like those people with families who find it difficult to join a small group or a connect group can then link in with a connect group if it's on Zoom. It's going to mean that some people who aren't necessarily able to make a Sunday morning for whatever reason, whether that's work and we know that nurses and doctors and other emergency people or people who are working in shops, they aren't able to get into church, but they could watch a service later on. So to be fed. So I think that's what's going to be interesting over the next kind of couple of years, I think, of how we adapt what we've learnt into be a new way of being in church.
Yeah. It's interesting that we're sharing that because I've had a variety of people, and just before Christmas, I had 2 guests from the major cathedrals, Salisbury Cathedral and Winchester, and both cases, Andy Trenio, who spoke to us from Winchester, they've spent a lot of money in the cathedral. They had a donation, and he was talking about picking up a growing congregation in Canada, for instance, and he said there's no way we're going to let this go. We will be keeping this going, and it's a whole new thing for us. And we all got to find different ways of looking at it, to linking into it. It is an exciting time. But it's also very important that we don't sort of lose the contact, because everybody now is saying, we're talking here about the way that we go ahead with worship and that, and everybody is saying the same thing. We miss the personal contact. We miss worship together. We miss song together. I'm currently taking the worship course, the BCM worship course with Winchester, and you will be familiar with that one. And everybody, there are sort of 50 or other candidates on it. Everyone is saying the same thing. We're missing the worship together. We're missing that. It's finding out that right balance.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, it's, as I said, it's not either or. I think it's and both. And I think that that actually in person is still vitally important. I think one of the aspects of our discipleship is that actually we're called to be part in community with one another. But what does that look like? That will be sometimes online, sometimes, if you're on Facebook or, one other of the social media kind of things, or whether that's actually in person. There's a whole variety around this. I mean, it's a question that's really, intrigues me. So one of the things we're doing for our Lent course this year is that I'm doing a course around faith in a digital age. So what does it look like to be a follower of Jesus in this digital age?
Oh, that's an interesting one. Yeah.
So because I think it's a question that is really being exercising myself and a few others from the team about what does that look like? What does healthy look like? What does it mean to be a disciple in a kind of digital age where, what shapes us and why is it important? What does church look like? Who is our neighbour? As you've just said, if you've got people from Canada or wherever, I mean, they are our virtual neighbours.
It's lovely. Watching us this morning will be people from all over. I mean, we know some of our congregation, but we've got other people that join us, and it's just fabulous having you all with us. We love the fact that you're able to come and share with us. It's just brilliant. We're just so delighted to welcome you. That's lovely.
So I agree. So I think that, so what does community look like? That kind of thing goes into what does the face-to-face in-person response look like as well. And that's why I'm very much committed to that idea that it's a both and approach, which again, I think is really exciting because, we've got people who are tuning in from all over the place as well. And it's lovely to hear the stories of encouragement. But also it means that people are able to see what's going on in other churches and some of the ideas can kind of go all over,
we cross-pollinate. Yes.
Absolutely. So I'm really excited by that.
Simon, it's such an exciting story that you've got to share with us. I do thank you very much indeed. Do pass our love to Sandra and to Chloe. I'm not quite sure if Sandra's still in touch with our morning group that we had, but I believe she's still on the list there. But it's lovely to have had you all with us for that time in the parish. Obviously, you're looking great. You're obviously thoroughly enjoying it. The Lord is really blessed. It's just lovely meeting you, catching up with you. It's great work that you're doing. Thank you so much indeed for giving us your time. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And again, just sending my love back to all of you in Hordle and Tiptoe. As I say, and just pray for God's blessing on you all. And and God is doing some incredible stuff in this time. So thank you so much, Tim, for inviting me.
All right, Simon.